Good day, everyone. This is Mylan Beneflor, and today I will be continuing the report of Miss Jillian Capio about the solid and hazardous waste. So, this is prepared by yours truly. Nature does not hurry, yet, everything is accomplished. So, as we go along with this discussion, be guided with these three questions. First is, what are the advantages and disadvantages of burning or burying solid waste? Second, how should we deal with hazardous waste? And third, how can we make the transition to a more sustainable, low waste economy? And now, let's begin with this question. In 16.4, what are the advantages and disadvantages of burning or burying solid waste? So, the concept of 16.4, technologies of burning and burying solid waste are well developed, but burning can contribute to air and water pollution and greenhouse gas emission, and buried waste can contribute to water pollution. So some of the advantages are it reduces energy and mineral use and air and water pollution. Second, it reduces greenhouse gas emission. And third, it reduces solid waste. So aside from advantages, there are also disadvantages. First, can cost more than burying in areas with ample landfill space. Second, reduces profit for landfill and incinerator owners. Third, inconvenient for some. Waste to energy incineration. So burning solid waste has advantages and disadvantages globally. MSW is burned in more than 800 large waste to energy incinerators, which is used the heat they generate to boil water and make steams of the heating water or interior spaces and for producing electricity. So there are advantages and disadvantages of using this one. So some of the advantages is it reduces trash volume, produces energy and concentrates hazardous substances into ash and for burial, and then sale of energy reduces cost. And then some of the disadvantages are expensive to produce a hazardous waste, emits some CO2 and other in-air pollutants, and encourage waste production. Burning solid waste has advantages and disadvantages. So a waste-to-energy incinerator with pollution controls burn, mix solid waste and recovers some of the energy to produce steam for the use in heating, building, or producing electricity. So this figure 16.14 solutions a state-of-the-art sanitary landfill is designed to eliminate or minimize environmental problems that plague older landfills. Burying solid waste has advantages and disadvantages. So there are two types of landfills. So a newer landfill called sanitary landfills, solid waste are spread out in thin layers, so compacted and covered daily with a fresh layer of clay or plastic foam. So this process helps to keep material dry, and it reduces also a linkage of contaminated water. So this is the illustration of the sanitary landfills. The second type of landfills is an open dump. So essentially a field or a large pit where garbage is deposited and sometimes poured. So open dumps are rare in more developed countries, but are widely used near major cities and many less developed countries. So this is the illustration of the open dump. So this slide shows the difference between sanitary landfills and open dumps. 16.5. How should we deal with hazardous waste? So, a more sustainable approach to hazardous waste is first to produce less of it, then to reuse or recycle it, then to convert it to less hazardous materials, and finally to safely store what is left. So, by that, we can use integrated management of hazardous waste. So, it is by produce less hazardous waste, convert to less hazardous or non-hazardous substances, and put in a perpetual storage. Based on the case study of recycling e-waste, according to the United Nations, more than 70% of the world e-waste is shipped to China, a center for such a waste in a small part of city of Guiyou, where the air reeks of burning plastic and acid fumes. So there are more than 5,500 small-scale e-waste businesses employ over 30,000 people, including children. So they work very low wages in dangerous conditions to extract valuable metals like gold, silver, copper, various rare earth metals. We can detoxify the hazardous waste, so the first steps in dealing with hazardous waste is to collect them. From there are undertaken into a large processing facility where 3 to 4 of the waste is detoxified with physical, chemical, and biological methods. So when we talk about physical methods for detoxifying hazardous waste, it includes using charcoal or resins to filter out harmful solid, distilling liquid waste to separate out harmful chemicals, and precipitating such chemical from solution. So second is chemical method. So it is used to convert hazardous chemicals to harmless or less harmful chemicals through chemical reaction. And then biological methods used for treatment of hazardous waste to be the wave of the future. We can also deoxify hazardous waste by using plasma gasification. It is a technology that uses arc of electrical energy to produce a very high temperatures in order to vaporize trash in the absence of oxygen. One such approach is bioremediation, in which bacteria and enzymes help to destroy toxic or hazardous substances to convert them to harmless compounds. Bioremediation takes a little longer to work than most physical and chemical methods, but it costs much less. Another approach is the phytoremediation, which involves using natural or genetically engineered plants to absorb, filter, and remove contaminants from polluted soil and water. So we can also store some forms of hazardous waste. So one of the most common form of burial is deep well disposal, in which liquid hazardous waste are pumped under high pressure through a pipe into dry porous rock formation far beneath aquifers that are tapped for drinking and irrigation water. So there are two types, deep well disposal and surface impoundments. So these two form has advantages and disadvantages. So the following are the advantages and disadvantages of the surface impoundments and deep well disposal. So let's begin to the deep well disposal advantages. So it is safe if sites are chosen carefully, waste can often be retrieved, and then low cost. And then disadvantages are the following. Leaks can offer from corrosion if well casing, emits CO2 and other air pollutants, and output approach that encourages waste reduction. So the surface impoundment advantages. So low cost, waste can often be retrieved, can store waste indefinitely with secure double liners. The disadvantages are water pollution from leaking liners and overflows, air pollution from volatile organic compounds, and an output approach that encourages waste reduction. So how can we make the transition to a more sustainable low-waste economy? So shifting to a low-waste economy will require individuals and businesses to reduce resource use and to reuse and recycle most solid and hazardous waste at local, national, and global levels. So the first action is grassroots action has led to better solid and hazardous waste management. Second is we can encourage reuse and recycling. So the question is how? How can we encourage the reuse and recycling? So the proponent says that leveling the economic playing field is the best way to start. So government can increase subsidies and tax breaks of reusing and recycling materials and decrease subsidies and tax breaks for making items from virgin resources. So another strategy is to greatly increase the use of free per bag waste collection system that charges household for trash they throw away but not for the recyclable and reusable waste. So reuse, recycling, and composting present economic opportunities. International treaties have reduces hazardous waste, and then we can make transition to low waste economies. So according to the physician Albert Einstein, a clever person solves a problem, a wise person avoids it. So before we end up, let's focus into this quotation. We don't want to live in a trash can, right? So stop making it one. Thank you for listening.